All right. Hey, Brenda, how are you?
I'm good, Earl. How are you?
Good, good, good. Is that my sound? I think it is.
It is.
Hang on. Okay. My last call. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So give me 30 seconds, but I just want to screen share and get some information in front of you that we're going to use for our call. But no, let me start here. So um I had saw your text and Facebook, and from what I understand, you're relatively new to the 10x B&B program, but you're not new to Airbnb at all.
Correct.
So take a minute, tell me a little bit about your backstory and why did you reach out?
So I reached out because we've been doing this a little while, me and my husband, and we want to branch out eventually and have some time that we're living in another state. And we were thinking of looking for another property that we could potentially purchase so that we'll have a place to stay. But we would want to Airbnb that property, and we would want a lot more streamlining. We don't want the hassles that we deal with now. We have three children. Each of our children have three children. So sometimes I'm pretty busy with grandchildren. And it's important that we stay at the top of the list for Airbnb because we want our place booked as often as possible. I know that timing matters with response time. And we also sometimes have questions that we need answered, and we're not sure how to answer them. And if you don't answer them fast enough or you don't answer them the right way, a lot of times you don't get the right results.
Makes a lot of sense to me. And so is 10x B&B your first program that you guys have been involved with that talks about short-term rentals, or has this been a little bit of a journey for you?
So this is the first program. Honestly, if I didn't have some experience, I might be a little lost with the program. Um, but because I do have some experience, I'm able to decipher some of the information, but I need a little more.
Hmm. No, that's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. Um, and so for you and your husband, um, you guys have had some experience. You joined 10x B&B primarily because you envision a situation where you guys can be in another state, another country, or whatever, and have your business run automated. Um, as of right now, what's been the biggest challenge you've had kind of getting that vision realized?
I think our biggest challenge, you're asking our biggest challenge to getting things up and running and going.
Hmm.
Um, just getting consistent bookings, um, having the best uh, product, making
Okay.
sure that, yeah.
Okay. All right. And right now, is your goal to add and scale to get some additional places, or are you guys, you know, you're at three properties right now. What's your top number? What are you trying to do?
So right now we're looking at getting a property in another state. All the properties that we have are in Rochester, and that's our hometown. But we're looking to get some outside of Rochester, in an area that we might want to travel to more often, where there's relatives. But we want to have a place of our own.
Okay, got it. Got it. Okay. All right. I'm actually going to screen share because I want to share with you the way I and my wife came up with a solution to assist people in very much the same situation. Let's see if I can find it. I had a bunch of documents open. All right, here's the document. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger
Mm-hmm.
so you can
That
see it
would be
on your.
helpful.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna see if I can make it as big as I can because I know you're on your phone, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right, um, so a couple of things I want to showcase. So very similar. We when me and my wife got going with this, we kind of came to 10x B&B with a level of experience too. But the one thing that we didn't truly have a handle on is how to use the systems, how to create the automations so
Mm-hmm.
that we were running a business as opposed to having a business that was running us. One of the
Right.
biggest complaints my wife said is she says, honey, I don't ever want to step foot in another property again. I don't ever want to have to be um, coming in after my cleaner and seeing that only 50% of the job actually got done. So what I really appreciate about the group is the structure, the systems, the level of detail that they put into everything. So we were able to hit the ball rolling, but we do understand that not everybody had a similar experience. And so what we've created is what we call an agency A and an agency B agreement. So agency A, what you see in yellow, Agency A would represent you and your husband's LLC. So the
Mm-hmm.
name of your LLC, the state that you're in, and your business address.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Me and my team, we represent Agency B. We are the back end. We are running the operations. So you find a great opportunity in Baltimore or Binghamton or Baton Rouge, and you get them on the phone with us, and we can basically break out the numbers, show earning potential, and if they see the value in what we have, we would basically co-list the property with the landlord. You're the acquisition partner. You're going to be entitled to your percentage. We're the back end partner. We're going to be entitled to an equal percentage, and we're just going to split 50-50.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the big idea. So let me
Mm.
go through the document real quick. So, first thing in the document, it speaks to definitions. You and I, your husband, um, everybody that's kind of they have their hands in the business. We already know what an STR is and what net revenue is, but the team of professionals that are supporting us, like our accountants, or maybe our tax preparer, or maybe our attorneys, they may not know all of these definitions. So these definitions are laid out in detail so they can look over your shoulder and kind of have an understanding of the operating agreement that's governing our partnership.
Okay.
Okay. Number two, the purpose of agreement. Okay. I bullet pointed it. It's for the mutual beneficial partnering to generate revenue. So is it, the old saying is that um you can come together for fellowship, and you can come together for friendship. But if you're doing a business, the fellowship and the friendship, if it doesn't generate some sort of economic value, then what in the heck are we actually calling it a business for? So there's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be an economic value of us partnering. Okay. And it lays it out in detail again. Agency A is focusing on acquisition. Agency B is focusing on the daily hosting operations. Yet both parties are entering a management agreement with the landlord to, first of all, maximize returns through pricing optimization, and secondly, to uphold professional standards, transparency, and shared decision making. I think that's important because although we're partnering, really there's no real moves that are going to be made without a sign off of both partners. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
The terms of the agreement. Okay. Um, we refer much more deeper into this in section 8, but it really states this: after the initial performance period, which is the first 90 days, the agreement is renewed automatically month to month, and either party is able to the exit at any time with a 45-day letter. So if you and your husband decide that there's another business that you guys are interested in, and you guys don't want the responsibilities, you guys can part ways with a 45-day letter. Or, and this is the cool part too, if you and your husband in 2 years from now decide, hey, you want to sell your equity in the business, you can sell your part of the business to someone else and cash out. And we will continue doing our split as if nothing happened. So that's
Okay.
the whole point. It's the generation of equity based on the success of the execution of our business. All right, point four. Okay, the revenue distribution and expensive fees. So I want you to think about this as being in a four or three levels. Level one is the low hanging fruit that pays us the least. Level two is the medium fruit that pays us well, but really we want to get to the top of the apple tree. That's where it's the sweetest. Okay. At the third level, Brenda, is defined as 100K or better properties. So at 100K or better, you're splitting and I'm splitting equally. All right. You're doing or the acquisition, I'm doing the hosting. Okay. Now the idea is if it's 100K, that 80% of that, $80,000 will go to the landlords and you and I will split 20K. 20K roughly gives us about a $1,000, a payout a month. Does that sound okay to you?
That sounds good.
Okay. So in the middle is where you see it breaks down as a little different, Brenda. In the middle, it says you host and we consult. All I'm saying there is that although we're not in the driver's seat, because if it's a higher end property, there's probably less room for any mistakes. But if
Mm-hmm.
it's right in the middle, the old saying is you give a man a fish, they eat that day. Teach a man how to fish, they eat a lifetime. You're going to be in the driver's seat. We're going to be in the passenger seat. We're going to be teaching you how to navigate this thing, giving you
Okay.
instructions. We're the GPS.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And then the first tier, now we didn't say this, but sometimes um not everything that falls into your lap is a good return on your time and energy. We
Right.
have found at least the lower the price point for the property, you're putting the same time and effort and energy into it, but you're getting less as a return. So we're recommending that you only work with those apples that are in the middle or at the top of the tree. Those
Mm-hmm.
lower tier properties, we're recommending don't do it. But if your heart is set on doing it, we'll still work with you. You're going to host at 8% and we're going to consult at 12%. Does that make
Okay.
sense why it's not 50-50?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. All right, roles and responsibilities. Okay, again, I've said this a few times, but this is bullet points. What does it mean to be agency A? What does it mean to be the acquisition partner? First of all, you're going to identify and secure higher performing properties, negotiate exclusive agreements, conduct research, blah, 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 blah. You may not know how to do any of that in the beginning, but you will because we'll actually be holding your hand. And I like to say, it's been said that you may not have what's the saying? If you hang out at the barbershop long enough, even if you don't have any money, Brenda, what happens?
You probably get a haircut.
You'll get a haircut eventually. Okay. So B, the back end. So there's a lot to the back end. And we've done it so often, we kind of do it in our sleep. The property operations on site management, guest communication, listing and setup optimization, uh, performance tracking, marketing and branding. I'm gonna let you read all the bullet points when the call is over because you'll get a copy of this.
Okay.
And then number six talks about the underperformance clause. So we have a performance period of 90 days. Now, after that 91st day, you and I may come back together and say, hey, you know what? We saw some numbers on the B&B analyzer, and we were extremely hopeful that we would actually see some returns. But as we look at the cycle that we're in and the seasonality of it, we're not completely sure that this property is worth our time and effort. We're now going to look at occupancy, daily rate, guest reviews, and profitability. And if everything doesn't give us that warm and fuzzy feeling, we may give that 45-day letter to the landlord and let them know that we, based on, you know, sound business practice, don't see this as beneficial for either party moving forward. So that
Okay.
is there in the agreement. Again, you and I, your husband, we will talk about it well before bringing that to the landlord. But that's what point number six says.
Okay.
Okay. Point seven speaks to confidentiality, Brenda. And literally, all we're asking is this. Um, don't put anything that we talk about in our business meetings on Facebook. Because it may not all, some of the reasons we do what we do may not 100% come from the 10X B&B platform. Because, we were learning about midterm and short terms before we found the mentorship. So we're just taking best practices and trying to maximize return. So again, it's not so much that we care about you, knowing. We just don't want you to share any of those trade secrets. That makes
Okay.
sense.
Makes sense.
Eight, termination. We kind of talked about this before, but by mutual agreement, you or I can come to each other and having a conversation, being open and honest, say, hey, in 45 days, we want to exit the relationship. And we're not really looking for somebody to buy our shares. We just want a clean break. That's what this clause is for. So we go in as, colleagues, as friends, and the idea is to leave as colleagues and friends. All right. So
Okay.
number nine is the governing laws. In that yellow space is where your city would go, Brenda. Okay. Number 10, entire agreement is completed and exclusive, understand by the parties and respect to the subject matters thereof and suspended. Um, my team that put together this language, I've yet to get a complete understanding of this clause, but it's there. Please read it and ask me
Okay.
questions. All right, amendments. Amendment just simply says that down the road, if you and your team, Brenda, decide that there's something that you want to do a little interesting, we're open to it. We're just going to have to add an addendum to our operating agreement to make sure that things that we talk about in the spur, we don't just act on the spur. We want to make sure it's documented. All right, so that
Okay.
keeps anybody from being super impulsive. That makes sense.
Makes sense.
All right. So number 12. So Brenda, these are the levels of support. Okay, levels of support. And they have different price points. So level one of support is direct access to us, your STR coaches, daily analysis of landlord negotiation support, deal analysis, uh, pitch preparation and feedback. We'll put together the pitch deck for you, and the we incentivize this by basically saying this, and this did get updated. It's now two. Okay, so um, if the current monthly investment for one-on-one coaching, unlimited coaching, and I say unlimited, but here's the truth of the matter: most people are getting between 5 and 10 one-on-one sessions before they land their first deal. All right, and so we're really trying to target you out of the gate to get that first deal. All right, so that's $120 investment. Um, for that is a cost that will disappear on a monthly basis once you get your second deal up and running. So we don't want to nickel and dime you to death each and every month. Once you know what you're doing, you don't need us for everything, but just more so as a consultant. You'll be learning the systems, price labs, and Turno. You'll be learning all of that through your first and second deal. So once those deals are happening,
Mm-hmm.
that reoccurring cost will go away. Any questions on that?
No, no questions.
Okay. Now, some people do play well with others, some do not. So if you're not the kind that plays well with others, level one may be where you want to be. Level two is more about the community. Okay. And I didn't say that 120 price is actually going away next quarter. It's going to go to 240. So 120 is where we are right now. That's going to be changing to 240. All right. For level two, if you want to be a part of a community, all right, we have our BNB community assets. We have a weekly call. We have a WhatsApp group. And typically, when people have questions or they want things clarified, I will answer them one on one. But then I'm going to share that insight and put it in the community so you can glean from the understanding and the insights of other people. Okay. And we do 45-day and 90-day challenges. Um, we do recognitions, performance-based recognition for folks who are contributing to the community, for folks who are encouraging others in the community. And again, if you strive better from a team environment, okay, this may be the level that you want to be at. Okay. This is going away at the end of the quarter, and the original price was 300. So for right now, it's 150. All
Okay.
right. So Brenda, let me shift by saying we used to have another level that's been put on pause. But we used to actually run people's B&B analysis. We may be revisiting that in the near future, but right now we just have level one and level two. All right.
Okay.
So based on you and your husband kind of talking about this, actually, I would encourage the video that you and I are doing right now. You and him sit down and watch it together. Once you guys have made a decision on what level of support you need, I want you to book a call again. Use my calendar link, get back on my schedule. When it's all said and done, the information in the yellow is all I need from you. I need to know what level you want to come in at, what's your business name, what's your EIN number, and I will do the same. And that will bring us to a point where we can talk more about potentially joining forces. You got any questions for me at this point?
No, all of that sounds really good. I'm gonna have to talk to my husband about this, and we'll be getting back to you. Probably not tomorrow, but the next day we'll get back to you.
Okay, that sounds really, really good. All right, talk to you later, Brenda.
Okay. Thank you, Earl.
All right, blessings. Bye bye.
All right. Bye-bye.